Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's January 10th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And no chart lessons on tomorrow, none on Fridays. I'm feeling better today. Seems like my vision's getting a little better each day, so hopefully I'll continue to um, improve with my eyesight. I'm not trading yet. I'm still not up to trading yet, but like I said, I'm trying to come in and spend a few hours at the office, do the mid-morning chart, do the this YouTube end of day recap, and just kind of trying to get my feet back in the water and ease myself back into a kind of a normal day, so to speak. So, but anyway, not a very good trading day today. It was really all uphill, but it was some tough trading today. There's still quite a few trades here. I didn't see hardly anything in this afternoon, really much past 1 o'clock. I didn't see anything. Most of the trading was early on, and you had to be really patient today. First really good trade wasn't until well after the regular session opened, almost 9 o'clock. And then you kind of had to sit tight. There's some green ones in there, but then there was just a few sporadic trades into the about 1 o'clock, and then after that, I didn't see anything I liked. So your chart could have looked a little bit different than mine, but a lot of bad signal bars and a lot of choppiness, and you really couldn't find this two-tiered channel until you could have drawn your trend line off these first two swings, but you really wouldn't have got it confirmed on the upper side until way up here, almost 11 o'clock or so. It's kind of obvious then. So, but until you had this confirmed, you didn't really know what prices were doing here. If you didn't have this, you're probably thinking that prices, you got a big strong move and then suddenly prices are moving down. Well, all it is, we came off the upper side of the trend channel line. And this was actually a little spike in channel working up with two tiers inside here. And you can see that once we got up here where the bigger channel was, we couldn't get through it to the upper side there. Of course, we had a break here and a new high anyway, so didn't much matter. But to me, this just didn't feel like a very easy day. Of course, I wasn't trading it live, so it might have just felt that way. But in my opinion, there was nothing going on here. There's no shorts. Well, there's one short here, and then there really wasn't anything else until we started heading higher. But we'll talk about that. Let's back out here and talk about the trades. But like we were going to be in a real early on, like we were going to just be stuck in this tight 12-point trading range, but we broke on out of there. And you can see when we pushed out, came back, and that's what you want to see. You want to see this resistance act as support before you go long. And generally, you want some kind of other setup there, a trap or a failed second entry short or something. I marked it green, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But the 7 o'clock hour came right in here, right up through this move. We had a break and we had to move a couple legs up. No really good setup here. It would have been nice to consider a short here, but that bar is way too bullish. But notice you got a new high and you try a first entry, then a second entry, and it actually breaks higher and turns and comes down. There's a little bit of congestion there, but with that bearish bar, you would think we would at least get another leg down like this, which we did. It took a minute to work on down, but you can see that we ended up, there's a leg down and then another leg down. It's pretty much a measured move too, just by eyeballing. I didn't draw it, but there's your first leg. And we didn't quite, looks like maybe we missed a measured leg down by a tick or so. But there's two legs down, and then we continue to move on down. And once we started down here, you would assume that we're probably headed to the lows, and that's another reason I like that one. It's a little bit aggressive because of the congestion there. And then notice we got a little breakout pullback short here, but again, it's right into those lows, and we closed inside that bar. So let me make this a little bigger. So I'm not crazy about that one. That's another one you could consider right there. I'll make it green. But it's just not a great setup. But it's like a little breakout pullback short. And of course, this was a breakout. And you could have treated this like a failed breakout and maybe taken this long. That's another possibility. But we just came off the highs of the lows, so there's a good chance we're headed down here. And so I just think it's too risky. But draw this trend line and drag it up and see where we turn down. And guess what? We turn down right off that. Of course, that one's tempting, but I'd wait on a lower high just simply because that one closed back inside the range. And notice we push through, pull back, and then get a big bearish bar that opens on its high and closes on its very low. It's a second entry short as well. That's where to get short. And so far, that was the best setup of the day. And then, of course, you get a failed second entry long right here. So when prices broke lower here, I don't have any problem going short there. And plus, you got a shorter term trend line working down. And we actually come back to it again here, break higher and turn down right off the EMA. And you're looking for prices to come down here. So I think that one's worth taking as well. And off it goes. And where does it bounce? Right at those overnight lows. Bounced off the closes to the tick right there. We run up, it runs straight through the EMA, runs straight through the trend channel or the trend line, and you get a first entry, and then you get a second entry short that fails, and it's right on that key entry point trend line, and that's the reason you don't want to be going short there yet. So I like going long there. It runs up, makes a new high, makes another attempt. The only reason I marked this one is because we're so far away from the EMA, and this broke higher and turned and went out the other side. Big bearish bar. You may consider riding that back because it is the first break of this trend line here. However, when it's a range day and we've already bounced right off the low, sometimes you don't get a new retest, but there's a chance. And so you may just, I mean, there's a chance this is coming back to the EMA most likely regardless. But so you may want to ride that back, especially with it being a double top, a little trap there when it broke higher and failed and then ran out the other side. I like going short one tick below that bar when it passes back through. But if you got enough room to get out going short one tick below the low of this bar right in here before you get to the EMA, then you're okay with that. Didn't matter either way, but you don't know that ahead of time, so you got to play it by the rules and play it safe. So, and that's the first break of this. So when we take off back up, it's not surprising. It is a little surprising that it took off that strongly. But notice how it pushes up here, pushes right through that resistance. I take that back. It doesn't push right through it. It pushes back. It pushes through it. It takes a little work there, and then it pulls back and tests it. It gives you a really nice little bullish bar there. You might consider that one. Again, it's a little bit risky. But this is a nice strong move here, so we'll probably at least test that high. And there's a good chance that, hey, maybe we'll make a measured move at a very minimum. Maybe this is just a midline, and maybe we'll make a measured move, which puts prices way up here. Of course, we went a little bit further than that because it's, in the end, this really wasn't a range day. It was a two-tiered channel working higher. But after that move up, we just started going sideways. And notice this move up, you would be expecting a possible failed break out of this lower part of this range here. And so that's you move up, you try to go short once. Actually, you got your break and you got two legs up, but that's first entry, second entry. So there's a second entry short there when you're looking for prices to maybe come back. And but we end up just in a range there. I don't see anything else there that I think's worth taking. A lot of overlap, I mean, that's basically a doji. It's just there's no really understanding what's going on there other than prices are just kind of stuck going sideways. We do push out of there. Notice that's a new low. It's lower than that one. So first entry, second entry, it fails. And so when prices broke higher here, you could go long there. It's not a great setup, but it is a failed second entry short. And if this range is going to get it moving an equal distance, we got a long way to go. You would hope it would go straight on up there. It doesn't. It really has to chop to get up there, but it does get back up there to the other side too. So, but then from here we move up. We make a new high, pull back first entry, pull back. There's actually a second entry long right there, so that's really where your entry would be. But you could wait and enter above that one too, but this was really where the second entry triggered, and it might have shaken you out of that one to watch it break up and turn and go straight down. It's not the best entry because it's not back to this short-term trend line working up here. It's not back to, it hadn't got back up here either though, but everything's been above this EMA since way back here. So this is definitely an uptrend, and there's a chance we're probably just going to make another swing up, just like we're just not going very far. We're swinging up and then you're correcting and swinging up and correcting. That's what it's been doing all the way along up here. So that one's worth taking. And again, you could probably argue for that one too. I wouldn't add on or anything there. I don't think it would be worth that. But if I hadn't entered here already, I'd consider this one. Then we come back down. We did come off the high side, and notice that confluence there where the bigger channel meets the shorter term one equal distance, and that's a good sign of a place to turn around. If it would have been a second entry here, I'd say, hey, you may consider a short up here, but there's no break of any trend lines or anything yet, so I think you want to just wait and continue to look at longs. A little congestion there, runs up. That's a big bearish bar. It turns down, but again, it's on this side of this little midline, and look, notice how it's closing above that. I don't think you want to risk that. I think you're better off to look for a long, and then you try to go short 3 times there and get a nice bullish bar. It's a little bit congested, but notice how we're making higher low, we're making higher highs and higher lows there. So I like that one. It's the first break of this short-term channel, so we're probably going to try to make a new high. It's good for a scalp, and then it comes back and it tests that again. And again, you could have considered going long there because it's like it's basically a double test right across there. But you had these lows, you tested it once, you tested it twice. So that's a possibility as well. But generally you want to wait on that higher low, which comes here, and it actually broke lower and turned and went out the other side. You can go long right there. There's another failed second entry short right here, but you've already made a new high and after a break, so I'd just wait because you may get trapped up there. And it would have worked, but it immediately sold off, and kind of what you expect with that break and new high in place. So now we may head back to the other side of the bigger channel, which is down here. And unfortunately, you don't get a really good setup till this failed second entry long, and that's a very neutral bar. But since it's a trap and a failure and everything's pushed through and it's also off a key entry point, I'd be okay taking that short. That turns out to be a pretty good trade. We come back to that trend line again. So you might even consider going short right here, figuring that we're coming down here. But you don't have a whole lot of room to that swing low right there, but I'll mark it green. Right off this trend line. You make a higher low here, but not a very good signal bar. And then it runs right back up to the EMA. That's the first break of that trend line, and you got a second entry short here with a nice big bearish bar. So I like going short right there. Hoping it'll run back down and make a new low, and it actually does. You get a lower high here, but not very good signal bar. I would have said maybe even enter there. And of course, now you get a break of this one. This is your bigger 2-tier channel. You get a break, and this is one you might consider because where does it bounce again? There's that extra double test right there. So that's another one you may consider, especially being that far away from the EMA. But I'd wait on a trap or a reversal pattern. Runs up first entry, runs up second entry short. It actually breaks lower and turns. It goes out the other side. I like going long right there. And you'd hope that it makes a new high. And this turns out to be a pretty good trade. And like I said, I didn't see anything else. This is off the key entry point, not very good. Another one off the key entry point, not very good. Then you get a close outside new high. There's nothing really coming down here. You get um, a lower high right here, but it's right into this low, and you can see you would have just got trapped there. This would have been the place to go short. It is a failed second entry long, but I didn't feel comfortable treating that like a failed second entry long at this point, this late in the day. But it technically it is, so that's another one. And I'm not gonna mark it red because of what I just discussed with you there. It's late in the day, and there's too big a chance you get trapped there, and because we don't have a new high in place quite yet. Here's your high, and we're not quite there yet. So um, you got to be careful getting short in here. And notice, even though it did run down, it started climbing again on up, trying to make that new high. And I got you in the 2 o'clock hour. So there just weren't many setups this afternoon. There weren't many really good setups all day. This just was not a great trading day. There's some trades in here, and if you're patient, there's no reason you can't make money. But it's just not one of those good trading days where there's lots of easy setups and easy to spot setups. So if you felt like it was a difficult day, even though I didn't trade live, it still feels like it was a fairly difficult day to me. There were a couple of trades early on, and even then you had to be patient. You had to wait till almost 9 o'clock before you had your first real trade. And then you had to just sit patiently, and while there's a few longs up through here, none of them, most of them are not really straightforward and clear either. So it just didn't really feel like a comfortable trading day to me. And maybe that's just me. So, but if you feel that way, I can understand why. So, but anyway, it was good to be back this week and to kind of get back into the swing of things. Hopefully, I'll continue to my eyesight will continue to improve and get better between now and next Monday, and we'll see how I feel Monday. I haven't taken any trades since I've come back, and just don't feel ready yet. So we'll see how I feel Monday, and maybe I'll take a trade or two next week. We'll just have to see. But if you traded today, I hope you had a good trading day. Hope you learned something. We'll be back again Monday, but I'm done for today and this week. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.